5, 4, 3, 2, 1, watch me.
Hey y'all, it's your girl Ashley and welcome to a very special Halloween edition of Ashley's Hot Takes. As you can see, I am dressed as Commander Ross today, here to give you all the latest takes from week 8 of the NFL. And since I know a lot of you are dying to get out there and trick-or-treat, party, do your thing, I'm going to make this a very condensed hot take, starting with Thursday Night Football. Dolphins taking on the Texans. Deshaun Watson, best game of the year thus far. 5 touchdowns, very efficient. And it wasn't just through the air. Lamar Miller, he had himself a heck of a game, 133 yards on the ground. Unfortunately, they did lose Will Fuller for the year to a torn ACL, but they just picked up Demaryius Thomas from the Broncos, so that will help be a complimentary piece to DeAndre Hopkins, who probably had one of the best catches I've ever seen that wasn't a catch. I mean, did you see the under the leg like that? I was like, oh my gosh, it was a really good catch, but they didn't rule it a catch. It still should be a catch though, but I digress. For the Dolphins, ever since losing to the Patriots, have dropped 3 of their last 4 games. Now, yes, Ryan Tannehill is out, but that does not excuse the defensive effort we have been seeing. Thursday night, they got torched by the Texans. They have some deficiencies they need to account for. Even before this next game took the field, there was already drama. Jags traveling to London along with the Eagles. Some Jaguar players, they went out Friday night. Nothing wrong with that. But when the bill came, there was some confusion, if things were comped, if they weren't. Here's my thing for the players involved. You have to be smart enough to understand, okay, if you go out, that's your prerogative, that's your business. But it would have been better to just either pay or handle the matter, and instead of letting this become a story and like hanging over the game. All right, now to the actual game. Carson Wentz, I thought he had a solid performance. 3 touchdowns. The running game looked good. It was a running back by committee day, 133 yards, 6 different backs. So good for the Eagles. The Jaguars, same old, same old. I know when Blake Bortles is lacking confidence, when he starts running a lot. He does not want to turn it over with his arm, so he says, well, I can protect the ball and run. Yes, running is an option for him, but it's not his only option. You're a quarterback. Blake isn't the only problem, but he's the main problem. But the other rushers, they need to step up too. I mean, Carlos Hyde, I know you've only been there 2 weeks, but everybody else had 27 combined rushing yards on an NFL team. Like, I probably could get a good solid 10 yards. No, I wouldn't. But... All right, bringing it back to the States. Broncos taking on the Chiefs. This was actually a really competitive game, in my opinion. If Case Keenum can continue to play consistent, Denver will be in a lot more games this season. Obviously, I really like the defense, but I like the 1-2 punch of Phillip Lindsay and Devontae Booker. They both had a combined 173 yards last week. So Denver, they have a winning formula. It's just, can Case play consistent? Chiefs, Mahomes mania continues to be in full effect. But I like this Chiefs team because on offense, they find different ways to win. This week, Samuel Watkins had a big week, over 100 yards, 2 touchdowns. I still have questions about this Chiefs defense, but I'm going to let it go for now. Speaking of letting things go, Browns, Steelers. Obviously, Steelers won the game. It was competitive early on, but the Steelers took hold of the game. Steelers on the up and up. But the Browns, after sitting through 0-16, 1-15, 4-2-1 was just too much for them with Hugh Jackson. They let him go. Now, at first, I was like, really gonna let him go? And now Todd Haley is gonna be the coach? And then Todd Haley was let go. And my favorite person is now coaching.
Hey, now, are you gonna start with the defense out there? No shit, I got a lozenge, bitch.
That will seriously never get old to me. But it's a clear sign that John Dorsey and crew are getting ready to clean house. Other names are being floated around. But right now, for the Browns, don't get me wrong, I was very critical of Hugh, but you gotta give him some credit for the cultural shift that has taken place in Cleveland. Now, I do believe a lot of it has to be the players and just being tired of losing and being a laughingstock of the NFL. So yeah, there is a pride element, but he has a role to play. So Hugh, good luck. Redskins versus Giants. A lot of people saying this could be a trap game for the Redskins, and it looked like it could have been close after AP's fumble, but he made up for himself, took it to the house, and now he's 9th all-time on the rushing list. Also, the Redskins just got better on defense, getting HaHa Clinton-Dix from a trade with Green Bay. I think he's going to really compliment DJ Swearinger a lot, and DJ already has 4 interceptions on the year, so them two back there, watch out for that Redskins secondary. The Giants are just in no man's land. They trade Eli Apple. Eli, 1 week he looks okay, 1 week he looks super suspect. And then the backup quarterback that they drafted, Kyle Lauletta, homeboy gets arrested the other day. Just dysfunction up in the Big Apple. Seahawks, Lions. After all this time, Seattle finally has a line for Russell Wilson. It only took 6 years and midway into his prime, but a line is a line. The run game is back. Defense is doing its thing. Not only did the Lions lose this game, they pulled the trigger and traded Golden Tate. I mean, he's like beloved in Detroit, but it's a smart move on the Lions' part to trade a player while they're still in their prime. He was up for free agency, so I get that move. They still have solid receivers and a strong run game, so I think the Lions would be okay with that move. Now, next game, the Bucs, honey. Ooh! The Bucs need to figure out what they're going to do with Jameis. Bucs, Bengals. What is going to happen with Jameis Winston? Before being benched, Jameis threw 4 picks to the Bengals. Now, the Bengals, they have a strong defense, but some of these picks were just, it was like, where was he throwing? There was not a Bucs player in sight. It was bad. It was bad. And then Fitzmagic comes in to save the day, brought them all the way back. They ended up losing by a field goal, but still, Fitz is not your long-term answer, but you know what he is. Put him in. As he's hot, cool. And when he cools down, you have to put somebody else in the game because he's not going to carry your team long term at this point in his career. Jameis, his future is in question with the Bucs, and I understand the Bucs' perspective. We're not going to pay you $100+ million, and you've been inconsistent for 5 years. Jets, Bears. Even with Khalil Mack and Allen Robinson being out for the Bears, they still played really well. And my biggest takeaway with the Bears each week is how much more I'm impressed by Mitchell Trubisky. He's really developing in year 2. Panthers, Ravens. The Panthers really look like they're having fun again. When they went to the Super Bowl that year, they were handing out balls, kissing babies. They are back to that fun style of play. The Ravens, they came into this game the number one defense. The Panthers do not run just a dynamic, Chief-like offense where it's just all these cool, exciting plays. It's very predictable. Like, Cam's either going to pass, he's going to run. McCaffrey's either going to catch it out of the backfield, he's going to run. But the fact that the Panthers were able to have their way with the Ravens defense is a little bit concerning, but I'm going to see how the Ravens do next week. Okay, Colts, Raiders. This game was actually way more high scoring than I expected to be, in the 40s for the Colts and the high 20s for the Raiders. Andrew Luck, solid day, but Marlon Mack, he put on a show, over 100 yards. So the Colts, they're what I thought they would be at this point in the season. The Raiders, I'm just going to keep sipping my tea. 49ers taking on the Cardinals. The struggle of the Red Squads. Who would come out 2-6? Cardinals came out. Josh Rosen put together a nice little last-minute drive. Ended up scoring. So good for him and good for the Cardinals. And I want to just shine some light on Larry Fitzgerald. 8 receptions, 102 yards, 1 touchdown. He's been with the Cardinals through the ups and the downs. He's never been a super outspoken guy, but he's just always been the pillar in the face of consistency. Let's go out to the Wild Wild West. Packers taking on the Rams. This game was actually really good and fun to watch. Aaron Rodgers and company, they were hanging in there. The Rams doing their thing, but it's always one person who messes it up. Former Green Bay Packer Ty Montgomery, yeah, they traded him the other day. Former Green Bay Packer Ty Montgomery tried to be the hero and take the ball out of the end zone with a little over 2 minutes left. And what did he do? He fumbled. Turning the ball over to the Rams and not giving Aaron Rodgers a chance to take the field and do one of his miraculous 2-minute drills. So Ty, he's no longer with Green Bay, and it's a word to everybody. Don't try to be the hero. Let your quarterback do their thing. Now to the Sunday night game. Saints taking on the Vikings. Rematch of the divisional round of the playoffs last year. The Minnesota Miracle where it all went down and lives were changed forever. This game came down to 2 mistakes by the Vikings. First, Adam Thielen's fumble. He fumbles the ball, boom, momentum swing. Then Stephon Diggs. Stephon stopped running his route, boom, Kirk gets picked off. The defender takes it all the way to the house, pick 6, and those 2 plays really shifted the game. And when you look at the Saints stats, they're not going to blow you out of the water, but it's those small plays, who makes less mistakes. That's what's going to win you games right now, but it's going to be even more important when it comes playoff time. Final game of the week, Patriots taking on the Bills. Total sidebar, but if I had to pick a couple fan bases that I would like to join, Bills Mafia would be one of them. Now, their team as a whole has been struggling, but they just look lit in that they have a good time. This game came down to one factor. One team had Tom Brady, the other team didn't. That's really this game. I could break it down, but that's really the basics of this game. And I guess that's it for this week's edition of Ashley's Hot Takes. Mic drop. But I hope you guys enjoyed. Please have a great Halloween. Be safe. If you're going to go out, Uber, have a DD. I hope you guys enjoy.